Your appearance.
Columbus P3.34 on the defendant.
Mr. Pastor,
Defendant here. Oh, here it is.
your name, sir?
Good morning. What address? Pastor.
Okay, Mr. Bologna.
Anthony Bologna, City Attorney.
So you want to argue your motion now?
Sure.
I don't need to hear about the one with, how do I say this? I'm not, I would not have scheduled this for hearing at all if it was still over the motion to withdraw the plea.
It was a motion to withdraw the plea was denied.
Correct.
It's a motion for reconsideration.
But you filed a motion for reconsideration. I didn't know that you were asking for a Ginther hearing before. You mentioned something about ineffective assistance and
Right.
go ahead. Why don't you proceed?
We would like a Ginther hearing concerning this because on October 7th of last year, Bobbins's being represented by the prior attorney. He had a medical consultation quite in depth, and it does show the diabetes he suffered from. And I guess ultimately is this, they're claiming by hearsay police report that he said he wasn't a diabetic when asked on the road or I don't know where that they allege. Even if that was true, we deny it, but even if it was true, it's a manifest injustice that he pled guilty, that it was artificially high, his blood alcohol level. So in other words, if DNA is somebody's convicted of murder, rape, and DNA later shows something, well, you know what? It's not a manifest injustice. I understand that that's the.
Do you have a medical record that tells me, a doctor that tells me that he's a diabetic?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it saying a report or?
In this intense courtroom exchange, the defense attorney argues that his client may have been unfairly convicted because of a medical condition related to diabetes. The attorney claims that previous counsel failed to properly investigate how diabetes could have affected the breathalyzer results used against the defendant. According to the defense, this oversight may have created a serious miscarriage of justice. The prosecutor responds by pointing out that the police report states the defendant told officers he was not diabetic at the time of the arrest. If that information was provided by the defendant himself, the prosecutor argues that previous counsel had no reason to pursue a diabetes-related defense. The judge appears skeptical of the defense argument and repeatedly questions how an attorney could be considered ineffective for relying on information contained in the police report. As the discussion continues, the judge presents a hypothetical scenario. He asks whether a defendant could tell officers that he is not diabetic, allow them to proceed with a breathalyzer test, and then later claim the results are invalid because he actually was diabetic. The judge suggests that such reasoning would place an unreasonable burden on law enforcement and defense attorneys.
He's a pre-diabetic. And Your Honor, I'm a pre-diabetic and I have to take a shot and 3 pills every day. So I don't know where they come up with the word pre, but they called me that too. I guess after a certain number, you become a diabetic officially. But I take Ozempic and I take 3 other pills for my pre-diabetes.
No, but a lot of people take Ozempic just because they want to lose weight
You know,
too.
it ain't losing weight. Mine was almost going into shock when I was in Chicago about 2 years ago.
Well, if this is a report dated October the 7th, if this is a report dated October the 7th, medication that he's on.
What kind of medication?
What is this
For what?
medication that he's on? What's that for?
What kind of medication?
I'm
For
on
what?
1,000
Next
milligrams
What's that for?
for the last 2 years. We had produced last time for the last 2 years. Prescription history for we had produced last time the
Have you seen this, Mr.
prescription
Bologna?
history
I've
for
not.
minors.
The pre-diabetes. Have you seen this, Mr. Bologna?
I have not.
That doesn't mean he's a diabetic. Pre-diabetes.
Your Honor, I'm a pre-diabetic.
That doesn't mean he's a diabetic though, right? Why would he have told the
I'm a
police officer he
pre-diabetic.
wasn't diabetic?
First,
Why would he have told the police
it's a
officer he
police
wasn't
report
diabetic?
hearsay. Nobody's testified to that. It's a police report hearsay. And the bottom line is, Judge, respectfully, If they're inaccurate
And
results,
the bottom
that's a
line is,
miscarriage of
Judge,
justice.
respectfully,
If they're inaccurate results, that's a
can't
miscarriage
do
of justice.
that test.
If
Well,
they're,
well,
they,
wait a
they
minute. You mean I
can't
could,
do
if I'm diabetic, I
that
can tell
test.
them I'm not diabetic,
Well,
have
well,
them.
wait a minute.
You mean I could, if I'm diabetic, I
Intoxilizer
could tell
and
them
then
I'm
come
not
back and
diabetic,
argue
have
that
them
the
lure 'em into
intoxilizer
giving me an
results are invalid
intoxilizer
because
and
you
then
bought
come back and
my lie
argue
and
that
you
the
relied on it
intoxilizer
and
results are
you didn't get a
invalid
blood
because you
draw
bought my
instead.
lie and you
Judge,
relied
I
on
don't-
it
I
and you
doubt very
didn't
much
get a
that he
blood draw
knew
instead.
scientifically
Judge,
that he
I
can't
don't
take
doubt
breathalyzer.
very much that
His
he
attorney
knew
didn't know, it was
scientifically
never brought up.
that he
though.
can't take
Because he, why
His
would a
attorney
lawyer
didn't
bring it
know,
up when
it
their
was never
client,
brought up though.
when their
Because
client asked,
why would a lawyer bring it up
when their client
told the
when their
officer
client
they weren't
asked-
diabetic?
when their
Your
client
Honor,
told
that's
the
hearsay
officer
right
they
now.
weren't
You're relying
diabetic?
100% that the officer said. That's
Well, who
hearsay
are
right
you
now.
relying
You're
on?
relying 100%.
You're handing me
that
a
the
police
officer said.
report that says,
Well,
you're handing me a
who are you
medical
relying
report
on?
that says pre-diabetic.
You're handing me a
You
police
say he's
report
a
that says-
diabetic.
you're
He
handing me
says
a
he's
medical
diabetic
report that
now,
says
even though
pre-diabetic.
apparently he told the
You
police.
say
So
he's
the
a
police are either
diabetic, he
lying
says
in a
he's
police
diabetic
report
now,
in
even
which
though
case
apparently
they
he
should be
told the
kicked
police.
off the
So the
force.
police are either lying in a police report, in which
Who's
case they
saying
should be
he's a
kicked off the
diabetic? This
force.
says pre-diabetes. What information do
Who's
you
saying
have
he's a
to tell
diabetic?
me
This says
that the
pre-diabetes.
lawyer
What
information
should
do you
pursue
have
that?
to tell me that the lawyer
It's like
should have
diabetic.
pursued
That's
that?
what I am.
Well, you're saying
It's
that.
like
I don't know that
diabetic.
to
That's
be
what
true.
I am.
Well, I don't know if
You're
you are or
saying
not.
that. I don't know that to be true.
Well, you guys are coming in now
Well, I
saying
don't know
there's
if you are or not.
diabetes involved.
And
Well,
I
you
don't have
guys
any
are coming
evidence
in
of
now
that.
saying there's
You got it in front of
diabetes
you right now.
It says
involved.
pre-diabetic.
And I don't have any
What do
evidence
you
of
have to
that.
say,
You got it
Mr.
in front of you right
Bologna?
now.
It says
Your
pre-diabetic.
Honor, if the request
What do you
is
have
for
to say,
integrated
Mr.
performance focused on
Bologna?
ineffective assistance of
Your Honor,
counsel,
if the
all
request
he
is
had
for
in the
integrated
office
performance
focused
focused
on
on
ineffective
report
assistance
is
of
focused
counsel
on
until
until
now.
now.
All he had.
The report says
what we have in
that
that
he
report stated
focused on
he
until
now
now.
had better.
The report says
that
was there
he
ineffective
stated
assistance
he
of counsel?
had that
Counsel
better.
reviewing
So
that
the question
report,
is,
they can only assume
was
that
there
he
ineffective
has to
assistance
follow
of
counsel. The counsel is
As
reviewing that
relates to
report, they
diabetes,
can only assume
so
that
unless
he
there's something
has
that
to follow
states where the client
as
presented
relates to
prior
diabetes.
counsel with,
So unless there's something that
a statement
states
saying
where
I'm
the client
diabetic,
presented
medical
prior
records,
counsel
prior
with
counsel stating that he's
a
diabetic.
statement saying I'm
I think it's safe
diabetic,
to
or
assume
medical
that
records,
there was
prior counsel
effective
stating that he's
assistance
diabetic.
of counsel. I think
Municipal
it's safe to
process.
assume
His
that
prior
there was
counsel didn't even know what
effective
diabetes
assistance
does, or
counsel in the
pre-diabetes.
process.
Who
His
said that?
prior counsel didn't
I'll
even know
have
what
a doctor
diabetes
sitting out
does,
there
or
during the
pre-diabetes.
hearing.
Who
And
said that?
hearing, I'll have a doctor sitting up. The results are just, they're void. We can't say, well, you said something to the office.
So I just want to ask you this question. If the officer comes in here and tells me, Judge, unequivocally, the defendant told me he was not diabetic. How, and if I believe that officer's testimony, you still think it's ineffective assistance of counsel because the defense lawyer didn't pursue an avenue when the officer had been told by the defendant, according to the officer, that he was not diabetic, and therefore that the defense simply could lure somebody in by saying, no, I'm not diabetic, wink, wink, and then go back and say, I was diabetic and the results are skewed. I can't even imagine a lawyer trying to argue that his client's diabetic if the officer was told by the defendant, if the officer was told by that, you're right, there are mistakes, that he was not diabetic.
He's got medication with it. And it's on the report, his medication.
Which report? The medical report or the police report?
I believe both. I didn't
I didn't ask you that. What report are you referring to? The medical,
That report
the
has,
medical report?
and I'm sure the inventory, and I don't have the inventory report, has what was on it. I don't have an inventory report. I don't,
What else? Anybody else want to help me out here and tell me why I'm thinking incorrectly? Mr. Bologna, Mr. Colovis?
a hearing would result, so it'd be a very short hearing.
You're gonna bring in the doctor.
I'll bring in his treating physician, not a made up one. And how long he's been on it. So what I'm saying is, let's just say that the officer heard that my client was not a diabetic. Let's just say, does that mean that test results go in? Absolutely not. You gotta lay foundation. And one of the foundations is, if you're a diabetic and you blow,
If you're conceding that he told the officer he was not diabetic, are you conceding
no,
that?
no, I'm saying what, the worst case scenario, that's. I haven't seen a video, I haven't seen it.
I can't imagine me or any other judge throwing out a case on the basis that they should have administered a blood draw as opposed to a breathalyzer if the officer was told, and the court believes that it's truthful testimony, that the defendant told the officer he's not diabetic. I can't imagine me throwing out a case saying, oh, it's a miscarriage of justice. He should have been a mind reader. He should have been Houdini. He should have been a read everything.
Nobody says throw it up. What we're saying is, those results, if all true, the breathalyzer results are excluded. And now they can try their case the old fashioned way.
Well, that's what I meant, throw out the results.
Correct. That's like not watching a person for 15 minutes, they regurgitate and then they blow.
No, that's a lot different than somebody telling an officer, I'm not diabetic, and for the officer, well, I'm gonna pretend you are. I'm gonna pretend everybody's diabetic because they could be lying to me. They could be luring me in. I'll give you your hearing, but I hope you're not wasting the court's time.
I will.
You subpoena the officer, Mr. Bologna. I know you said at one point he doesn't work for the department. I want that officer here. And I want to hear testimony. But I can tell you, honestly, Mr. Colovis, I can't imagine any judge worth 13 cents throwing out a breathalyzer because they administered a breathalyzer to a diabetic who happened to tell them that they weren't diabetic.
So if the breathalyzer was not working properly,
Did you hear what I said?
you leave the results in.
If I administered a breathalyzer because the defendant told me he was not diabetic, yes, I would.
He also told him he wasn't drunk. It was for that.
Come on. I'm not gonna argue about it with you. I'm just telling you. I have a feeling there's more to this, but I'll listen to it. We'll have a hearing. When are we gonna do the hearing? I want to do this quickly.
Yes.
How do you want to do it? 2 weeks, Judge, or how?
Yes, May 7th.
May 7th, you want to do 11
May
o'clock?
7th. Can we do it later in the morning? Because I'm in Ann Arbor again. That's where I was this morning. I had to drive right back there.
All right, let's do May 7th. Yeah, 11 o'clock? You're gonna
May
subpoena?
2nd to May 10th, the family is on vacation.
To where?
For what? Why don't you tell the court?
They're going down to Florida for conference.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I needed to request a time between May 2nd to the May 10th. I tried to voice.
You gotta keep your voice up.
I'm sorry, sir. I needed to request time to the May 2nd to the May 10th.
There's a medical conference.
I go and meet like two of my doctors for it. I'm sorry about that.
Let's,
You want to do it before then?
you gonna be able to get somebody here before then, Mr. Bologna?
I have no clue on the officer's availability here, so I'll try my best.
What days?
Why don't you go call him real quick? See if you can get a hold of him.
I'll see.
Because I don't want to put this off to the 21st. I really don't. Can you,
Thinking next Thursday?
if everybody's available, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Your Honor, too,
That's April 30th, right?
yes. Being that this is a Ginther hearing, though, the hearing is to determine an effective assistance of counsel. Concern is we're gonna get into the weeds and create some type of record now as it relates to evidence that wasn't even put forth before this court in consideration of how we got here.
That's the effective assistance of counsel.
Well, my view is should be more focused on, did counsel even know about this diabetes? Is there any evidence that counsel was aware of this?
Well, of course, that's all part of it.
I guess we'll find out.
They have to prove essentially that the defendant is diabetic. It was conveyed to defense counsel. Defense counsel didn't pursue any kind of defense, period. That's generally speaking, but that's what they're going to have to prove. I think your point in your brief is well taken. Why I'm so frustrated is because I just can't imagine somebody, a lawyer, reading in a police report that his client admitted that he was not diabetic, or at least told the police he was not diabetic, and then faulting the lawyer for not pursuing a claim that the intoxilizer or breathalyzer shouldn't have been administered because he's a diabetic. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine somebody lying to the police about whether or not they're a diabetic. And even if he wanted to come in and claim that he was diabetic, if the officer's testimony is to be believed, let me be clear about this. How am I going to find that there's ineffective assistance of counsel? That being said, let's figure out what day we're going to do it. I will honor your client's ability to leave the state between May the 2nd and May the 10th.
How about 4/29 as well? Next Thursday.
I'll tell you what, I'll make it. Am I good that time, Heather?
On which date, Judge?
April 29th at 11.
Let me look at our docket.
Is that the 29th?
It's a Wednesday.
That's a
Oh,
That's
Wednesday.
a Wednesday.
Guys, let me just check something.
30th is what I thought.
Yeah. Are you good at 11 on that day?
But, yeah,
Well, you're here with Judge Hessen though.
I'll be here.
Why don't we do it?
We can
You
it.
do have a trial at 11 on the 30th,
What kind?
a domestic violence.
Let's do it at 1 on the 30th.
That'd be perfect.
Now, here's the thing though. If either one of you can't get your officer here, can't get the doctor here, then we're going to have to adjourn it. So you guys can be big boys and figure out a time with my judicial clerk, okay?
That's great.
April 30th at 1, okay?
Thanks. Sir.
Thank you. All right. If you can just write those up for me, Tony, the other warrants or whatever they are, show causes.
FDA's draft. Those?
Yeah,
Okay. I have the names. I'll take care of it.
yeah, thank you.